What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Nittany Pod. I am AP. He is TK. Alex will be joining us at some point tonight. What's going on, man? Long time no speak. We haven't talked to you guys in a while. I hope
Yeah,
you've all been well. How are you,
yeah.
TK?
I've been good. I had some personal things come up, so unfortunately, that's on me. Us not being able to record, so I own that. Not like we were
Yep.
dodging because we don't have a reason to dodge right now. So, um, but yeah, I mean, things have been good. Interesting win for Penn State last weekend. An exciting win, the way it happened, and obviously a massive week this week. And looking forward to getting into that.
Yeah, I don't think we've talked since before the USC game. So really, I mean, since the last time we've talked, Penn State has had two really impressive wins. Obviously, not the best opponents in the world, but both of those games, we've even said to one another, like, those are games last year's version of Penn State. Any version of Penn State throughout James Franklin's tenure would not have won the USC game or the Wisconsin game. So
Yeah,
kudos
yeah,
to him and the team for seemingly getting over those sort of humps. But now is really the one that, you know, we've been dying to get over this one
yeah,
for years, man. And
yeah,
we said last time we recorded, you beat USC, you beat Wisconsin, which we did. We're going to be chilling against Ohio State. Like, we're not going to give a fuck. We're just going to be hanging out,
yeah,
relaxing, enjoying our time. But the closer we get to this game, man, I I mean,
yeah,
we talked about it right before the show. Like, I'm not nervous per se because it's not a season ender. But at
yeah,
the same time, I want this game so badly. And
yeah.
I can actually we you can now see a path to victory for Penn State with the way Ohio State's been playing and the way that Penn State has looked and overcome adversity so far this year. So
Yeah,
I can see a path to victory. I really, really want it. But I mean, we know what happens in these moments, right?
yeah. Yeah, I guess it has been since USC. I mean, just two football games that we've gotten used to losing.
Yeah.
Two games where, you know, at USC, go down early, slow start. They hit a couple trick plays. We're down in the fourth. We're down. We need a drive at the end of the fourth to go down and tie the game. And we get it. You get two big fourth down conversions. Just a really, really big win for Drew. Really big win for James as well. And I think that's important to talk about or mention because, USC is not obviously a great football team right now, but they have a lot of talent on that team.
Mm.
A lot of great athletes on that team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. For James, it's a big win because it's USC. Beating USC as a program and any USC team is in my opinion a good win, especially on the road. Then you follow that up and you have the bye. Everybody's a little worried about the bye because we know what happens after the bye usually. Come out, things are okay. It's not great. It's okay. It was kind of hard to believe we were losing that game where we were going to half very nonchalant, and Drew comes out, can't go, and um, Bo comes in and did a great job. So two games that we've seen Penn State lose plenty of times. Haven't seen a fourth quarter comeback like that from Penn State in a long time, probably Iowa. Um, and then on staying on Iowa, kind of a flashback to 2021 when Penn State season got derailed because Clifford got hurt and Roberson couldn't take a snap. So
Yeah.
really cool to watch. Massive, massive game this weekend, obviously, um, and a lot riding on it. Either way, it's similar to what you said. We were talking about it before the show. I'm not nervous for the game. Penn State will not have their season ending, regardless of the outcome of the game. But it feels like a game that's gettable for Penn State. I don't agree with a lot of things that are being said. I've heard people say this is um, Penn State's best shot. I've seen people talking about how Penn State has the advantage in multiple areas. this is why, and we'll get into predictions later on, but this is why I can't pick Penn State, because and this just validates it for what everyone's saying. People are picking Penn State as the number 3 team in the country to beat Ohio State because of the way Ohio State looks and what's going on with Ohio State. No one's picking Penn State because of Penn State. They're picking them because of Ohio State. And that's the difference, in my opinion. If you
Yeah,
say, "Oh, I like Penn State straight up," well, why is that? Drew's a little banged up. He was full go at practice today, which is great. Donka's banged up, obviously, and Dennis Sutton's banged up. So it's like, I like him straight up. It's like, well, why? And it's like, well, Ohio State has a big injury at the left tackle spot. They sputtered a little bit on offense, but they still have a good defense. It's like, so you're really picking Penn State just because you think Penn or Ohio State's not in a good spot. Has nothing
because
to
you're
do with
low
it.
on Ohio State.
Yeah, and that's why I can't. And that's how I feel, kind of. So I can't.
Yeah,
That's the reason I can't like pick Penn State. And then obviously you go into the past 8 years and the games they should have won and they haven't. It's like an ultimate. I have to see it. Like it's like, I
absolutely.
love where we're at. I love this team. I really do. I love this team. I love a lot of the young players on this team. They've been phenomenal. I can't wait to see Granville get more burn. There's plenty of positives about Penn State. But in order for me to really think Penn State is going to win this game, I would have had to have seen them win 1 or 2 or 3 of those games in the past 8 years that they should have won, and they haven't done
Yeah,
that. So that's
yeah.
where I'm at.
I mean, reality is this is the game. If you do win this game,
Mm-hmm.
if you win this game, this is the game where you springboard to the next level. Like
Yep.
this is, at least that's the way that I feel about this. You look very good to start the season. You're undefeated. This is the furthest we've gone into the season undefeated in a while. Got a lot of positive momentum on your side. Drew, your 5-star quarterback looks like a 5-star quarterback out there.
Yep.
I mean, there is a lot going in your direction. And
Yeah.
if you win this game on Saturday, that I don't want to say cements you among the elite in college football, but it definitely puts you up there.
Yeah. I mean, it's top 4 win. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
2 top 4 teams. Um, I'd be the first one to eat shit if they win, and that's massive for James. And I mean, I feel like that would kind of reset my thoughts on James. It's a top 4 win at home. You're potentially knocking Ohio State out of the playoffs with the loss, based on how their schedule lines up the rest of the way. Um, so there's so many things this weekend that are massive, and everyone's going. So everyone knows it. Josh Pate's going, Game Day's going, Fox is going, Jason Kelsey's going. The former president was trying to get there at one point. I mean, it's a massive, massive game. And I just hope, if anything, if we are to lose, I feel like in every one of these games, whether it be against Ohio State or Michigan, we do something off schedule that is just idiotic. Usually it's on special teams. And I just want you to go out there and just play it straight up. Like, obviously we're gonna have trick plays out the wazoo with AK. That's a part of the offense. You live and die by that. I can't bitch about AK because it works. It works. There might be a couple of drives where it looks like shit and we stumble and it's like, all right, well, this is questionable. And then the next
yeah,
drive, Bo Perbila goes 70 yards and scores. So I don't. It is what it is with AK, right? And you're gonna see everything, because I think you're exactly right. You win this game, you're cemented in the playoffs, in my opinion. You win this game,
definitely that.
and you get over the hump that everybody talks about for Penn State. And we were talking earlier in one of the group chats, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. So actually did want to bring this up. I see it all the time. His record against the top 5 is 1-12. Well, I think
Yeah,
it's important that he might be 1-12, and that's ass. I mean, there's no disregarding that. It's terrible. But 8 of those are against, or 9 of those are against Ohio State, and 2 of those are against Michigan, and the one is against Iowa when Sean got hurt. So
yeah,
in that time frame, take away the Iowa game because that was a loss, that was brutal with Roberson. no one else beat Michigan or Ohio State those years besides each other either, really, except for Georgia, Alabama,
Right.
or who,
Clemson.
or Clemson. And respectfully, that's 3 coaches. Like, and
Yeah.
I give them shit more than anybody, but at the end of the day, there's only 3 other coaches that would have won those games. Like, that's just the reality. Like, Ryan Day, his program's top 4 team in the country right now. He's won a Big Ten championship. And,
Yep.
I mean, he's had a great shot to win a national championship where he's been there, and his record sucks. I
Yeah.
mean, it is
And
what it is.
it's interesting because I believe Ryan Day right now is I don't want to throw out false
Yeah.
shit, but I know his record of late, especially against these top teams, is not very good. Like it's
No.
closer to James Franklin than it is really anybody else that you would think, especially thinking of an Ohio State head football coach.
Yep.
So again, if you can win on Saturday, it almost from a coaching perspective, from a James Franklin and Ryan Day perspective, it almost feels like if James Franklin can win, he's going to be passing off the monkey on his back to Ryan Day. This is a game that you can change the narrative.
Yeah.
A
And Day would
100%.
be fired. I mean, he would get fired.
Yeah, yeah,
Ryan Day would get fired, and it's really it's kind of crazy when you look at it because Franklin won't be fired if he loses this game, obviously. But if he, I have no doubt, and it's known on here, on Twitter. When we go to the games and we all chat, obviously. I haven't been a big Franklin guy for a good while now, and if he wins this game, I mean, it's not when is he, it's he might be here the rest of the way. And that might sound
yeah,
stupid to some people, like a Georgia or Ohio State or Bama, but we're not we're not those programs. Like we've never had a stretch of years where they're done what they've done. It's just the reality. But if you beat Ohio State at home as the number 3 team in the country, you probably move up to number 2 if you do that for one. And
yeah.
that's enough. Like that's enough for Penn State. It is. But it is time though. That's like I said, I can't
Need
pick him,
something.
but it's time for him. He has to do it eventually. Like it's that simple. Like and then I think after next year or maybe this year, I'm not sure. They don't play again for like 4 years or 5 years. Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, like all signs do lead to this game being the one where he would have to do it. Like
Would you
it's just
agree?
reality.
Would you agree that it feels like this is the time, but at this like it feels like this is the time. It feels like it's going to happen, but at the same time, as Penn State fans, knowing what's happened the last 8 years, we're conditioned to say like I'm not picking Penn State to win this game. I'll say it
Yeah.
right now. We can give our score predictions later, but I do think Ohio State is going to win like typical fashion. They're going to break our hearts. But I also, in the back of my mind, like I keep questioning myself, like, is that because I'm conditioned to say that? Because I keep thinking about the way Penn State has overcome adversity time and time and time again this year. And like you were talking earlier, like reasons why you would pick Penn State to win the game, and it's always, what Ohio State is doing. Well, my reason for picking if I was to pick Penn State to win, my reasoning would be that they've
Yeah.
overcome adversity time and time again and really haven't missed much of a step. Like, we've bitched and moaned at halftime, but they've overcome everything and really haven't looked like they've missed much of a step. I mean, you think back to the USC game, Drew Aller throws 3 interceptions, and after each one, I mean, it's like nothing happened. Like
Yeah.
just totally out of his head. Like this team feels different. James
Yeah.
Franklin feels different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't want it to seem like because we've been talking to everybody obviously in on Twitter and whatnot. I don't want it to seem like I don't think Penn State can win the game because I do think they could, and I've thought they could multiple times during this stretch of period of games with them. But
that's the issue.
I think what you said is spot on. I'm not picking Penn State to lose because they're not good enough to win. I'm picking Penn State to lose because I'm just like it's almost sad to say it, but I'm just trained to think that way at this
Yeah.
point. I mean, we've seen double digit leads be erased. We've seen you know, comebacks denied. We've seen last second heartbreaks. Um, we're just conditioned to feel that way. Like, do I think that the left tackle being gone is a big deal? Absolutely. Like, do I think that's a big problem for them? Yes. For Ohio State, yeah, I think it's a big problem. I do. Do I think that the coaching staff, based off what's been put out there on social media, isn't on the same page? Yes. At Ohio State, yes, I think that's the case.
It's
But
crazy.
you have to, if we're gonna do that, and we're gonna look at what Ohio State is struggling with right now. They still have a great defense. Okay. So that's when Penn State's on offense. They still have a great defense. They're gonna stack the box. They're gonna make Drew throw the ball. We're not sure our receivers are gonna be able to win in one-on-one still. When we're on defense, Penn State does not tackle very well. We are not a very good tackling team. At least we have not been up to this point. And that's pretty much shown every week. And Ohio State, without question, has the best skill position players that we're going to see this year and have seen. Judkins and Henderson are a wagon in the running back room. Ibuka's phenomenal. Tate is phenomenal. Jeremiah Smith is obviously a freshman sensation already. You know, if we can't tackle, like, and that's not something you just fix in a week. It's just not.
No.
Like, so they're going to have to, on third down, make big tackles. And I don't know if we can do that enough to win the game. Ohio State's kicker is not great. That's another
Yeah.
thing. Like, but every time I look at something that they don't have, you know, we're talking about the left tackle. We haven't really done anything. Like, as far as pressure, like, we've pressured. I think Denai was leading the country in pressures at one point, but
Yeah.
we're not getting home. And honestly, when we're getting home, we're missing the tackle. Like, we've probably missed 30 sacks throughout the year. Like,
It's insane,
so
man.
how can you know? Like, the biggest thing for Penn State this weekend is it's home. Like,
Yeah.
if we can, as fans, I'll be there, you'll be there. A bunch of people are going. I think they're going to break the attendance record this weekend.
Oh, definitely.
If they can have an impact on the game the way they did in Illinois or Michigan a few years ago, then they'll have a real chance. If we can stamp our words on the game, we'll have a chance. And I think the crowd's
Yeah.
going to do that. But it's about the fourth quarter for us. Can you win the fourth quarter just one time? And that's all it comes down to this game. One time. All the 8 years aside, just win it one time. And that's it.
Every year since we've beat them, it's basically come down to the fourth quarter. Literally, like it's insane, man. You have to win the fourth quarter. And
one time.
we've had the lead in 3 or 4 of those fourth quarters. Like it's not
Yep.
like we're asking to move mountains, man. Just
No.
you got to finish. You got to execute. You had mentioned receivers earlier, man, and
yeah.
I think I think this is another really interesting thing for Penn State that's kind of transpired over the year. When Penn State has needed the wide receivers to make a play, absolutely needed the wide receivers to make a play, they've made them. You think back to the USC game. I mean, down in that second half, it was a lot of the wide receivers. Trey Wallace had some big catches. Obviously, Tyler Warren had the highlight plays, but Trey Wallace had some big catches. Omari Evans had a huge catch on the sidelines that I said at the time, I have not seen a Penn State wide receiver make in years. Julian Fleming obviously had his fourth down catches. When the time called for it, he came up clutch. Liam Clifford had 2 huge catches in the second half against Wisconsin. Trey Wallace had huge catches. Like, they're showing up when they need to. If they're able to make those plays, that might be the difference right there, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they're going to blanket Tyler Warren.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll find ways to get Tyler Warren the ball just because he's that good, and they'll scheme it up to the point where he's touching the ball. But I don't know. I don't know if we will have enough offensively to keep up with them if they are firing on all cylinders. So as we welcome Alex here, obviously always a
Wow.
blessing to see him. Um, and I'm sure he has thoughts on the game as well. So I'll let him intro himself and insert himself into the conversation there.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? Happy I could make it. Work schedules
Glad to talk to you, man.
kind of a pain in the ass, so uh, buzzed home just to do this. But yeah, I assume we're talking about OSU here. You know,
Yes.
I've really tried to not talk myself into this, um, but I am. Um, and I don't know why, because it's just going to lead to disappointment, and I still don't think I'm, you know, going to pick Penn State at the end of the day. But I will say that I think if we just think we don't have a shot, I think we're crazy, because I think there's a shot, right? There's always a chance.
Yeah. That's why you play the game.
Like number one is 15 has to play, right? If
Yeah.
Drew doesn't play, we're not winning the game. I don't care what people say. I don't care what Bo looked like in Wisconsin. I don't care. We're not winning the game with Bo. I'm sorry. We're just not.
Yep, I
Um,
agree.
Agreed.
that's fact.
Agreed.
Um, and I love Bo, and kudos to him for the performance that he had on Saturday, right? Like,
Yeah,
way to let your
absolutely.
nuts hang and ball out. But you're not beating Ohio
Learn to
State.
slide though.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
beating Ohio State. So, that's number one. Um, I think the other reason why I think we have a shot is, is can our defensive line take advantage of their, somewhat banged up, weaker offensive line? Um, if you can do that, I don't think Will Howard is the most mobile quarterback we've faced. Um, I think you can contain this running game. I think that's another big key. You cannot allow them to run the football successfully,
Yeah.
and because I think it just makes them more dangerous. We'll have enough trouble trying to, cover these receivers on the back end. And that's also why the D line needs to really, really show up. You cannot allow Kimber and Harris and Jay Reed and all them guys. And I'm not saying they've played poorly this year. You can't expect them to cover Jeremiah Smith and Ibuka and all these guys for 5, 6, 7 seconds. You just can't. Um,
Right.
you got to get home. So number 11, it's your time to shine here. Give me something. Zane, I don't care who it is. Just show up.
That's why I think deny Dennis Sutton's availability is huge for this game. I mean, his numbers aren't there, and if you want to knock him for that, so be it. But deny Dennis Sutton puts together a good film. He gets to the quarterback, like TK mentioned earlier. He was leading the country at one point in pressures. I'm pretty sure he was up until the Wisconsin game. Hell, he might even still be. I don't even know. But he gets to the quarterback. He's very good on run defense. And him being on the field across from Abdul Carter opens things up for Zane Durant. And I'm not like when I look at Ohio State's offensive line, yes, they're obviously weak at left tackle. At the same time, the guy that they're moving out to tackle is one of their best guards, meaning they're starting a redshirt freshman up in the middle. If denied Dennis Sutton would be available for this game, and him and Abdul are able to attract most of the attention from the offensive line, Zane Durant would be able to, I mean, he
Yep.
would make himself some money on Saturday. So deny Dennis Sutton. I need it, man. I need it. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, it's a challenge, right? And the biggest reason why I've tried to not talk myself into this is because of the last 7 years. That's why I'm
Yeah.
trying not to. But if we get a performance like I feel like this team can give us, clean, disciplined, solid, for 60 minutes, not 3.5 quarters. I don't know.
You never know.
Right.
Hell, we've seen Penn State beat Ohio State with Trace McSorley completing 9 passes. So, I mean,
I mean,
anything can happen.
Penn State still hasn't played their best game to
No,
date.
No, and
So
well,
now would be the
and
time.
and I know like Franklin takes a lot of crap because of the fact he can't or he hasn't beaten Ohio State here in the last 7 years, which some of that is obviously fair with how some of those games have gone, but um at the same time, we can also give Franklin credit in the fact that even teams where we thought there was no way that we were going to compete, right? We competed.
yeah,
2022 at home, right? We had a lead in the fourth quarter. The,
I
you know,
went into that game totally
six
thinking we were
minutes
going
to
to
go,
get.
and Marvin Harrison, does his thing, and JTT had the game of his life, and all those kinds of things, right? There's I think Drew Shelton said it best today. There's one or two players. There's 10 players doing it right. There's one player doing it wrong, and that's what causes planes to crash, which I think is a great analogy. But can we get that level of performance from this team? I'm not saying we're gonna, but I'm also not gonna say there's just no shot.
I mean, they're
Alex, it's funny that you just talked about that because Tyler and I were talking before. Like, there's definitely a path to victory for Penn State this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it is very much achievable. But with the way things have gone the last 7-8 years, we're just conditioned to say it's not going to happen. I mean, just prove it. You show it.
Right, right. Everybody thinks you can't until you do. It's no different than Michigan.
Yep.
And we'll set the cheating thing aside for a second. They kicked their ass. Cheating or not, Michigan out physicaled them. All those things when they beat them 2 years in a row. And people said the same thing about Michigan. Can't beat them.
Yep.
So I'm not trying to get everybody's hopes up because I don't want everybody to just be disappointed at the end of the day. But I think there's a legitimate shot here.
I'm kind of
if there
hedging my
is,
feelings when I say Ohio State's going to win.
if it happens, I mean, I'll be on the field.
Yeah.
So
Oh, 100%.
And I'll have cigars.
I'll get on the field and I'll run to Ryan Day and I'll get my phone out and tell him he's unemployed. That'll be on Sports Center, or I'll get punched in the face.
I will say, going into this game, in general for Penn State fans, it is nice to know that this game is probably more important for them than it is for us, which is weird.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened for us in quite some time. And everything is still there, no matter what the result of this game is. Everything.
Yep.
And that's why I almost have gone back and forth in my head. It's like, okay, if Drew is, 85, 90%, and he goes to Franklin and says, I want to play, what do you do? Do you let the kid play? Like, I get it, but you have to think big picture here now, because your path to the playoff is clearer than ever. Like, we're through the stretch where everybody thought, okay, there's going to be a hiccup. We're past it.
Yeah.
There's still
with the way Minnesota's playing lately, I could see people making Minnesota to be a trap game now.
There's still Minnesota on the road, but at that point, that's a couple weeks past this game, no matter what the result of it is. So you'd think that would be behind everybody, and ultimately, you're going to want Drew healthy come playoff time, right?
Right.
So you have that to think about too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they lose this game, they still have to get to the playoff.
Correct.
So
Right.
You still went out, so you got.
It's a tough balancing act. I'd hate to be a coach, man, because it's like, like you said, if Drew comes up to you and says he wants to play, but he's only 75%, which he was practicing today. Based off of what I saw today, I do think Drew plays this weekend. But a couple of days ago, I was saying, if Drew is 75% but wants to play, like, I'd probably play Bo, and I hate to say it, like,
He's
this
got,
is a huge game, obviously, like, you
got
want this game,
Drew.
but
The bottom line is Drew's got to be 90% or higher to even think
yeah,
about playing. If he's
yeah,
below 90%, you don't play him.
yeah. I mean, you got to think about there's still 4 games in the regular season after this, and then if you're going to achieve all the goals that you're going to or that you want to, you're going to be playing 3, 4 more games after that. So, what's that face for, TK?
90%, buddy. If you're 90%, if you're 89%, if you're 85%, you strap your bitch ass up and put the pads on, buddy. Like,
Long term, okay, long term. That's what I'm thinking
see,
about.
we keep saying long term, and I got into an argument with somebody today on the app about this. If they lose this game, there is nothing guaranteed, bro. Like, you could lose this game and then go lose to a shitty team, and then you're out of the playoff. Like, if you came from Ohio, like all the fucking weird shit that Will Howard's saying, like, oh, they didn't want me. Like, no one wanted you, bro. Like, no one wanted you. Ohio State didn't want you either coming out of high school. Sorry. Like, my fucking bad, buddy. Like, end of the day, Ohio State didn't prioritize Drew in his recruitment coming out of high school. So it should be personal for him too. And he looked like shit the last time they played. Simple. It didn't look good. So to me, like, we can do devil's advocate and be like, oh, long term, like, we make the playoff, we're going to want them at the end of the year. That's not guaranteed. All you know right now is you're playing Ohio State this weekend, number 4 versus number 3, against the team who didn't want you out of high school, who you were a fan of your entire life, and you have a chance to potentially eliminate them from the playoffs. Strap it up and go fucking play. Like,
I mean, there's definitely
listen,
merit to that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here just for the hell of it. So if Drew is 80% or whatever, let's say, and he does play, okay, and I get your point saying that we're not guaranteed to go win out, right? Because that's basically what you're saying. Who would we rather try and go win out with? Do we want to try and go win out with Drew, or do we want to try and go win out with Bo? Because we can lose. So in my mind, and the reason I'm saying this is we can lose just as easily with Drew as we do with Bo.
Right.
no.
I think Drew gives you a better chance, but I still think
Wait, what do
the
you mean?
chances
No.
of losing.
No.
I still think the chances of losing are fairly high with either
It's literally
quarterback.
not the same. Like, that's
So what I'm
like the
saying
common thing that's being said. Like, I disagree with that so aggressively. Like,
so you're cool. So you're cool with playing Bo the rest of the year and trying to make the playoff. If Drew would get hurt more.
Game, bro, this game is it. Like, this is
No,
it.
it's not.
But bro, it is, bro. If they win this game, hear me out. As crazy as this is gonna sound, if they win this game and somehow lose 2 other games, they are still in the playoff. Do you understand that?
If they win this game,
if we beat Ohio State, the number 4 team in the country,
I don't think they're in.
Yes, bro, you would still be in.
There's going to be a shit ton of tennis.
Yes.
So I mean, good luck. I don't want to put that, in play here.
I don't want to be in that fucking
be 11-1.
For everyone, like, I hope I get crucified. For everyone who the past 3 days has been saying, just play Bo, he matches up better against Ohio State. Like, please shut up. Like, please. He did not throw the ball more than 12 yards down the field. Please shut up.
Yeah, he did.
Like,
that throw to Liam Clifford.
No, bro. He hit.
Well, I don't agree with that.
He hit Clifford between 3 people, which was a great throw.
I don't agree with.
No. I'm talking about the one he was wide open. He hit him like 25 yards downfield.
I don't agree. You just play Bo. Like, I don't agree with that statement.
Bo Prabula, for everyone, I'm not saying either of you, made it clear that's not your stance. If you're listening to this, I am saying, me, no one else. You want to crucify somebody, you can crucify me. I don't give a fuck. Bo Prabula cannot beat Ohio State by himself. Bottom line, starting quarterback, Bo Prabula cannot beat Ohio State. Cannot do it. Because the impact that has on the game changes everything. Everything. Defensively, it's like, oh, well, Bo gives us a better option to run. He opens up more things in the run game. Great. It also eliminates a lot of things in the passing game that Ohio State is actively struggling with right now. Like, that cannot happen.
So
Like,
here's my
all.
cap to your guys' conversation here. This playoff expansion was made, and I said this in our group chat earlier. This playoff expansion was made for Penn State. This was made for you. Like, obviously not for Penn State, but like literally no other team would have benefited more than Penn State in this playoff system over the past decade. So this is made for you. So in the worst case scenario, if you don't make the fucking playoffs, I don't give a fuck what happens on Saturday. I don't. If you don't make the playoffs, I mean, what the fuck are we doing? And I truly do not care what happens on Saturday. If we don't make the playoffs, I mean, what are we doing here? So whatever comes of Saturday, whoever is going to start quarterback, whatever happens to them, if we don't make the playoffs, cool, bro.
Still a better year.
We beat Ohio State. I've
Still
already
a better
seen
year
that.
than we ever had.
Like,
still a better year than we were accustomed to.
It would be ridiculous. It would be
still
ridiculous.
a better year.
It would
still be a better year.
It would be ridiculously disappointing if
still a better year.
If you beat OSU and you didn't make the playoffs. That would be insanely disappointing.
Still a
so
better
what?
Year.
We beat fucking Ohio State.
What do you mean? So what, bro? We don't do it.
I've seen it. We also what I have not seen before.
We also didn't make the playoffs. So what? Who cares?
Like, don't care.
Nobody's gonna.
Beating Ohio State
8 years down the road, nobody's gonna remember
that entire program.
This right?
Entire program.
It's so to me, the goal for this year should always be make the playoffs. And that's how we went through this season so far. That you chalk up the loss to Ohio State, but you go 11-1 and you make the playoffs. That goal is still there.
Yeah, I'm saying, if you go 11-1 but you beat Ohio State, that's a massive year.
11-1 with a win over Ohio State.
I mean,
yeah. If they miss the playoffs, then yeah, that's cooked. Yeah, that would be brutal.
But to your point earlier, TK, I don't want to put it in the hands of the committee or whoever is picking this at 10-2 to try and I don't foresee us losing 2 games if we would beat Ohio State. Like, I don't see that at all.
No,
maybe you drop one to like Minnesota on the road, maybe, but Purdue's not good. Maryland stinks. Who else is on our schedule?
We have Washington.
Washington.
But that's the whiteout.
So I don't necessarily see that, but I will say I don't. And this is all going back to like Drew's health. We were talking about here. I don't. At the end of the day, I don't think you risk Drew's health. To just possibly beat OSU, right? That's my opinion. We can agree to disagree on this. That's fine. But I also don't think James is going to do that. So even no matter what Robert Windsor says,
he's a pussy. You're a fucking loser. You're a fucking loser, bro. You're dog shit at football. You amounted to nothing. And your biggest thing you've done in your life is fucking buy crypto. You're a joke. You're actually a sick fucking joke. Like, you're so ass. I couldn't even believe you brought that. Like, then you fucking posted that during the, like, you are such a fucking loser, man. Like, oh my God, you fat piece of shit. Like, yeah. I can't even fathom it, dude.
I want to point out Penn State's record coming off of Ohio State games. Obviously, coming off of a loss, not very good. And we play a scrappy Washington team the week after. We do have the whiteout, but the last time we beat Ohio State we went to Purdue and kicked the ever-living fuck out of them. So, I mean, if we do beat Ohio State, I'm not too concerned about us losing a game after. But you still have 4 more to win.
Prediction time.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Give me some score prediction, guys.
OSU 27, PSU 24.
Oh, God, we're going to do it, aren't we?
You said you were picking them to win. What the fuck?
No, I said there's a chance.
Oh, God,
No,
bro.
in the group
We're
text
gonna
you
get
said you were
fucking
picking them to
canceled.
win. Now
Oh,
you
you
picked
want me to
first,
pick
so
them
you
to
got
win?
to bail out of that.
Bro. No, you can't change it now. You already
I
said
mean,
it.
Well, I'm saying 27-21, Ohio State.
I mean
And I
that's my
think,
gut though.
I swear, I think it's 24-21. This is how I think it plays out. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you an advanced one. 27-21. In the fourth quarter, it's 24-21, Ohio State. They kick a field goal to make it 27-21 with under 2 minutes left. We have about 1:30, and we don't score.
Any timeouts?
That's it. We don't score. I don't care if there's 3 timeouts or not. That's how it ends. That's the heartbreaking loss we get this year.
I mean, that's kind of what I imagined USC going at the end, and, they came back and did it. They had more time than 1:30, but
27-21.
fuck, man. I mean, I'm picking Ohio State. I mentioned it earlier in the show. I'm picking Ohio State. Ohio State's going to win. What did I say earlier in the week to you guys? 28-24. I think that feels right. I could very easily see that flipped. I feel like all 3 of us could very easily see that flipped, but again, you gotta show it to us.
I'll say this: if PSU scores more than 30, they win.
Just for information purposes, the entire Columbia Dispatch, or I'm sorry, Columbus, sorry. Such a dog shit city, I forgot how to say it. Columbus, the Columbus Dispatch today at looks like 10:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. Looks like, let me count here, 1, 2, 3, and John 4. So it looks like the entire Columbus Dispatch has picked the Ohio State Buckeyes to lose to the Pennsylvania State Nittany Lions this Saturday.
Oh boy!
I got a text from Amanda earlier today. Saying, showing up on a Wednesday to get our butts kicked on Saturday, and she's an OSU fan. They're definitely scared.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Which is
I mean,
great,
that's why they're making shit up out of nowhere with the whole fucking JTT thing. If they wanted their bulletin board material, they have it now with what the Columbus Dispatch did.
And let's just,
that's their own people. It'd be your own people turning on you. Like
for
we
all
just
the viewers out there.
Imagine if the Penn State beat all picked Ohio State. They're just running so hot right now after that fucking question last week, dude. They would get crucified.
Just for all the viewers out there, because I ruined it and picked OSU instead of picking PSU.
Fucked it.
All of us would love nothing more than to be proven completely fucking wrong.
Please.
I mean,
TK said he's gonna make some facial hair adjustments if that happens, right?
Yeah, what did I say? Handlebars.
Oh, we're going handlebars.
Yeah, so a couple things. I mean, number one, we'll do some handlebars for No Shave November. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. I mean, handlebars for the entire month of November. I do have obviously a career. I'm not a complete fucking bum, so that would be difficult, but we'll do it. Fuck it. Number two, I will reset my thoughts on James Franklin from the previous 9 years if he wins this game.
Ooh. That's a big one.
I will tweet out.
I
will tweet out something very nice to James Franklin.
Give him his flowers.
Even though he obviously won't see it because I'm blocked.
Right.
And yeah. Oh, number 4, the biggest one. I mean, just because obviously this ends up on ESPN. If I do this, and I'm a showman, so I'll be on ESPN for you guys. I will run down on the field from section NB, row 54 seats 24 through 28. If you want to, come punch me in the face or whatever, it's up to you. But I will run on the field with my phone out, recording, and I will go right up to Ryan Day, and I will say, "You're unemployed, bitch." And if he hits me, or if I get tackled by a police officer, or whatever happens from there, it's just meant to be. But if it comes with me suing Ryan Day for an assault charge and getting rich, it is what it is. So those are the four things. Those are the four principles I'm willing to do.
The video would be epic.
Yep, my buddy Matt, who's coming, who I work with actually. So this will be interesting. He said that he would openly streak across the field. So
wow.
Not sure you're into seeing 40-year-old ass, but it seems that a very pale man would be streaking across Beaver Stadium.
A very pale man.
So
yeah, I mean, I will say if we do pull this out on Saturday afternoon at about 4:30 or whatever, because it's big noon and they take forever.
Dog shit.
Beaver Stadium could collapse. I mean, that place will be insane.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm there to experience it, man. And I hope I'm there to experience it because 2016 was unreal too. So,
yeah.
You want me to tell you what I'll look like if it happens? Because there'll be, there'll probably be if it was to happen, right? There would be about a 10, 15, 30-second window there of me just sitting in my seat like this. I'd probably just be sitting like this.
There's a good chance I'll be in tears, but
I'd just be sitting there, and I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
We did it.
And then I would obviously knock off my checklist one by one.
Starting with
you can't sit there for too long because Day's not going to be on the field for too long, so you got to get moving.
Well, the good news is he comes for him to leave.
Oh, that's true. He comes towards
you. He comes right by you.
Right by my section.
Yeah.
I will say this is a huge game. You probably don't listen to the show, who I'm about to call out here. But there is a man that sits behind me in my season tickets. Stop fucking kneeing me in the back, please. Dude, you're like 400 fucking pounds, man. Like, can you fucking have some courtesy here? Like, I don't have a seat back. Like, I'm not making it harder for you to sit there. Like, please, at least just tell me. Like, just be like, hey, man, I'm probably going to fucking knee box you this entire 60 minutes. Like,
I love the benches.
I'm getting fucking sick of it. Also, it's a helmet stripe out. If you're not abiding by the theme, you're a fucking loser.
Bro, just fucking wear white, dude.
I hate the helmet stripe, too. I think it's fucking lame. But
just fucking wear white.
Just do it, dude. Like, simple as that. We're going to be all together. All three of us will be together at a tailgate. If you're going, come say hey. If you want to get physical, I'll gladly have Alex beat you up. So let us know.
That's me. That's how I roll.
I'm going to be beating the shit out of Alex and AP in cornhole. So y'all just come by and check that out.
Happening.
Probably not.
Not happening. Anything else you guys want to add about this game?
Nah, bro, I got to go back to work.
Be loud. I love as much as I love the video they put on the Jumbotron before the game, be loud. I don't really care about the show respect part. That's up to you. But yeah, I mean, just
Happy Valley hospitality.
Yeah, that Happy Valley hospitality shit. I mean, I don't care. This is an away game. If you're sitting down, you're probably not going to have a good view. If you're in section NB, row 53, you won't be able to see the game the entire time if you're sitting down. So,
nobody's going to be sitting down, bro.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry to the people behind me in section NK. You will not be able to see if you're sitting down. And I won't sit down. So
what lot are we in? Tell them what lot we're in.
31.
31.
Just head to the shitters.
Yeah, we're right. If you're not familiar with Beaver Stadium, this is going to sound a little weird to you. We are in front of the Coctagons. So
Which is
if you see a Coctagon
partitioned
nearby, there's
off
about
by
6 in front of it.
shippers, but
Yep. That's where we are. And the Yankees are getting sexual with the Dodgers right now. So
yeah, there'll be a
Boy.
whole bunch of us. I don't know if people check out Basic Blues Pod, stuff like that. He's going to be around. PSU Strong, I believe, is going to make an appearance. There's going to be quite a few of us that have a presence on Penn State Twitter there on Saturday afternoon.
Gorski
It'll be a
might.
fun time.
Gorski might.
With Jason Kelsey.
Yeah. One of
That'd
the
be
most
fucking
overrated
awesome.
centers of all time will be there.
What?
What?
So
Overrated?
no worries there. But
Settle
obviously,
down.
looking forard to seeing you guys, and
That was
hope
ridiculous.
everyone has a good one.
What a crazy shot that was.
Yo, bro, he thinks I'm just gonna end it at that. Like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
That's an insane statement. But anyway.
He's not gonna say anything else. Look at him. All right, man. Appreciate you guys joining me. Alex, get back to work. Go make some money.
Later.
Good night. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. Take care.